844-374-5433, back in the saddle after the holidays. I guess officially we are still in the holiday season, but I am back in the chute here. We will be rolling out our normal schedule for the rest of time. Welcome aboard, everybody. Dr. Peter Glidden, your steadfast advocate for health, welcoming you to another live edition of the Dr. Glidden Show. I'm a licensed naturopathic physician. I have 27 years of clinical experience that I bring to bear in helping people to understand what to do for their health when conventional medical doctors have let them down, which is the majority of the time. This from NPR.org. NPR.org. States deny pricey hepatitis C drugs to most Medicaid patients. That's not surprising. I'm reading from the article now. Sarah Jackson quit abusing drugs and has been sober for 6 months when she found out she had hepatitis C. That was weeks of not sleeping and just constant tears, she said. I had already put a lot of that behind me and had been moving forward with my life, and this was just a major setback. To get rid of the infection, her doctor, an MD, prescribed Harvoni. Where do they come up with these names anyway? Harvoni. H-A-R-V like Victor, O-N like Nancy, I. Harvoni. One of the new generation of highly effective hepatitis C drugs. But Jackson never started the treatment because her insurance, Indiana's Medicaid, refused to pay for it. There's nowhere else to go, says Jackson. The doctor tried, and now I have no other place to turn. That is absolutely positively not true. The only reason that she believes she has no other place to turn is because of the monopolization of the medical marketplace by the MDs, the pharmaceutical industry, the insurance industry, and the hospital industry. Naturopathic physicians treat hepatitis C all of the time, successfully. The article goes on. More than 3 million people in the U.S. are infected with hepatitis C, a virus that can destroy the liver and cause liver cancer. The number of cases is increasing, and most new cases are attributed to injection drug abuse. In the last few years, new medications have come onto the market that can cure hepatitis C with more than a 90% success rate. I doubt that very much. But these new drugs are famously expensive. A full 12-week course of Harvoni costs $95,000, $95,000 for 12 weeks. Because of that, Medicaid in many states restricts those who receive the medication. Okay. So I'm not even going to talk about the fact that the pharmaceutical industry pays 3 or 4 or 5 times as much in marketing as they do on research. And their excuse for having drugs such an unbelievably high price is because the research costs a massive amount of money and they have to pay for it, right? They have to meet the bottom line, which is nonsense, because they pay massively more in advertising for the drug than they do to research the drug. They could sell the drug for a considerably less amount of money, but they will not because they are too big to jail, right? Too big to jail. Pharmaceutical companies get away with murder, literally, and nothing happens to them. Maybe a slap on the wrist, maybe $1 billion fine here or there. It's a drop in the bucket to these people. And yet, I'm the quack. They continue to monopolize the marketplace. They continue to jack up the prices on prescription medications. They facilitate lobby for legislation such as Medicaid D, which disallows the government from getting fair prices, lobbying for fair prices from the pharmaceutical industry. The drug prices are set. That's a good deal for the drug companies, not for you and me. But because they're deeply embedded into the fabric of the politics that exists in this country, and the people that lobby for the pharmaceutical companies while they are in positions of government, when they retire from government, go to work for the pharmaceutical company and get paid handsomely. So why wouldn't you do that? It's all the free market, right? It's just free market. There's nothing wrong with this. Well, in point of fact, it is not the free market. It is not the free market. We do not have a free medical market here. We haven't had a free medical market since the early 1900s. Since the Flexner Report in 1920-something, the medical marketplace has been monopolized by the MDs. The only people that practice medicine in your hospital are MDs. The only people your insurance pays for are MDs. The only research that the universities get is from the drug companies for MD research. Do they do chiropractic research? No. Do they do Ayurvedic research? No. Do they do acupuncture, traditional Chinese medicine research? No. Do they do naturopathic medical research? No. Do they do homeopathic medical research? No. Do they do herbal medical research? No. It's pharmaceuticals, 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 pharmaceuticals. And remember, it ain't the drug, it's how it's used. It's not the gun, it's how it's used. It's not the drug, it's how it's used. But I digress. I have a patient that I've been treating for over a quarter of a century with hepatitis C. He was a drug user. Everybody apparently was drug users back in the 60s. That was the thing to do, right? It's not a criticism, it's just a fact. That was the cultural disposition of the time, and nobody knew anything about anything. So he got hepatitis C. All of his buddies got hepatitis C. He was the only one that sought alternative, quote-unquote, holistic health care, and he's still alive, going strong, quite healthy. He's had a great life. He's a remarkable human being, quite frankly. Really great guy. And still alive, still going strong, been living with hepatitis C for over a quarter of a century. Why has he been surviving when all of his buddies who also got hepatitis C died? Because he was the only one that followed my advice. He was the only one that was wise enough to get on the medical nutrition train, and it literally saved his life. This woman in Indiana, Sarah Jackson, who this article was about at NPR, she doesn't know about naturopathic medicine. She can't even pronounce naturopathic medicine. Probably most people can't. And let's be honest. If you can't pronounce it, how on earth are you going to know what it is, what it does? Well, the chances that you're going to be able to know what naturopathic medicine is are slim to none because your state does not license naturopathic medicine. Indiana doesn't license naturopathic medicine. Illinois doesn't license naturopathic medicine. Ohio doesn't license naturopathic medicine. The only state in the Midwest that does license naturopathic medicine, Kansas and Minnesota. That's it. That's it. We do not have a free medical market. We haven't had a free medical market for nearly 100 years. And because it's MD medicine all of the time, when the MDs fail people, in this case, because they do not regulate the price of the drugs, they do not hold the pharmaceutical companies accountable, they do not slap their wrists and say, look, we're not going to put up with this BS anymore. You can't charge this much money for a drug. For goodness sakes, don't you think that pharmaceutical companies should be nonprofit? Wouldn't that be a good idea? That, you know, the people who work to do the research, the people that own the company, the people that put the money out, they're going to have to get a decent wage. They're going to have to get a decent wage. Nobody's arguing against capitalism. Nobody's arguing against making a decent buck. But making hundreds of millions of dollars on the backs of the sick and suffering, making billions of dollars in profit, profit, not gross, net, profit. That's just not right. But nobody is even going to attempt legislation like that because they would be hammered by the pharmaceutical lobby and they would never entertain political office again. The pharmaceutical companies have way too much money and way too much power, and we have been underneath the heel of their jackboot for 100 years. And every once in a while they hit a home run, right? I've said this a million times. I will continue to say it. Thank God for Novocaine. Every time I'm in the dentist's office, thank God for Novocaine. Thank you, Jesus. Love that stuff, right? Again, this is not a diatribe against drugs. This is a diatribe against a monopolistic medical system which jacks up prices, leaves millions of sick and suffering out of the treatment loop, because of money and disallows other medical professions from having a fair shot. We do not have a free medical market. And that's why Sarah Jackson in Indiana does not know what to do. And this is a problem, ladies and gentlemen, not just in the United States, in Canada, Central America, South America, the European Union, all around the world, with the possible exception of China. China has, 100 times as many people as we have, and they don't have a healthcare crisis because most people in China use traditional Chinese medicine for everything that they're sick from, and they only use Western medicine when they step on a landmine. Or somebody from the army shoots them in the foot with a bullet because, they were protesting something. They don't have a healthcare crisis there because they use traditional Chinese medicine and acupuncture for most things. But not here in the good old U.S. of A. Those naturopaths, they're quacks. Those homeopaths, they're quacks. Those herbalists, oh my goodness sakes, don't go to them. They'll kill you. Even though MD-directed medicine is the leading cause of death in the United States, 760,000 people a year, guesstimated, and it's a good guesstimate, die as a direct, not an indirect, a direct result of visiting their MD for treatment. It's a runaway train, ladies and gentlemen. Quite frankly, it's a train that's gone off the tracks over the embankment into a ditch in the middle of a swamp that's on fire. It is bad. Everybody is sick and getting sicker, not because they have a bad gene, but because MD-directed medical treatments for chronic diseases are the wrong dog for the hunt. MD-directed medicine does not work, not for chronic disease. It should be abandoned. I am your steadfast advocate for health. Illinois is up next. Stick around. Dr. Peter Glidden here. Thanks so much for clicking on the link. I appreciate your trust and your curiosity. Last year in the United States, we spent over $30 billion on nutritional supplements, and everybody's still sick. When it comes to nutritional supplements, the recipe is everything. All wine is made from grapes. There's a great deal of difference from bottle to bottle depending on too many variables to count. It's the same with nutritional supplements. If you need to spend hard-earned money on nutritional supplements, which you do because medical insurance doesn't pay for it, did you ever wonder why? Well, that's the subject for an entirely different conversation. But in point of fact, our position is, in order for the body to work the way that God and nature intended it, there are 90 essential nutrients that need to be imported into it on a daily basis. These 90 essential nutrients are not all present in the food supply. You must supplement. It's mandatory. You must give your body the raw materials it needs every day to optimize its structure and function. You must give your body a fighting chance. So you need nutritional supplements. Well, which nutritional supplements should you take? That's the million-dollar question. I've been doing naturopathic medicine, practicing naturopathic medical therapeutics in clinical settings for over a quarter of a century now. And as God is my witness, I am here to tell you that the nutritional supplements which produce the most consistent, effective results are those developed and delivered by Youngevity. If you have finally snapped out of it and seen the light, if you are finally convinced that medical nutrition is what your body has been missing your entire life, and if you're ready to take a walk through the undiscovered country of science-based, clinically verified medical nutrition, then you need to try Youngevity's nutritional supplements, because they produce the most consistent results of anything I've ever seen. And I've seen a lot in over a quarter of a century of primary care naturopathic medicine. Fill out the form on this page, ladies and gentlemen. Click the submit button, and a Youngevity representative whom I know and trust will be in touch with you to show you what to do to support and promote your body's ability to optimize its structure and function. Thanks for your time. Thanks for your trust. I am your steadfast advocate for health, Dr. Peter Glidden. Live long and prosper. I'll see you around campus. Welcome back, welcome back, welcome back, ladies and germs. I misspoke at the beginning of the show. I will be live this week, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. GCN studios will be closed Thursday and Friday for New Year's Eve and, of course, New Year's Day. So we are live this week, Monday, which is today, Tuesday, and Wednesday. Doing a recording Thursday and Friday, and then next week back in the saddle 100%. We have a very robust chat happening in the chat room. Norway is in the house. Yalo! Yalo! From Norway is in the house. If you want to visit the chat room, if you want to partake in the live worldwide chat and to watch the live video stream of this radio program, please go to my website, glidden.healthcare. That's Glidden, like the paint, no relation. Glidden.healthcare. Become a Dr. Glidden advocate. $20 a month. Gives you unlimited access to my live radio shows, the chat rooms. We have a chat room in the radio program every day of the week. We also do 1 hour of live worldwide health chat twice a week, twice a month. That's on Monday and Thursday nights. Twice a month on Thursday evenings. Every other Thursday we do a live health webinar on various health-related subjects. And then when we, after the live event is finished, it's recorded, posted into the archives where you, as a Dr. Glidden advocate, have access to it. So if you have a thyroid condition, you go into your subscription on my website and you watch the webinar I did on thyroid health. If you have heartburn, you go into your subscription and watch the webinar I did on heartburn, and so forth and so on. And this is how we're going to change the world. There's only one of me, there's only one of Dr. Wallach, and there are hundreds of millions of sick and suffering people. If you are sick and tired of mediocre, Machiavellian, monopolistic, childish, juvenile, forgive the redundancy, MD-directed medical treatments, and you want to attempt to cure your condition, then it would be prudent for you to educate yourself about the simple steps you can take to get into the game of healing. I've lined it all up for you as best I can on my Dr. Glidden Self-Help Health Recovery Program, Self-Help Health Recovery Program, the Dr. Glidden Advocate, which you can avail yourself of immediately right now, as in now. Go to glidden.healthcare now, right now, glidden.healthcare. Follow the links, become a Dr. Glidden Advocate, and for goodness sakes, educate yourself about what you can do to get into the game of healing. Like Ryan in Illinois did. Let's go check in with him and see how he's doing. Hey, Ryan, welcome back. You are live.
What's up, Dr. G? Ryan McLaughlin. How you doing?
Very, very good. How are you?
Good. Good. Hope you guys had a good Christmas and everything's going well.
Yeah, except for the weather, right? A little crazy weather, right? A little crazy weather. I think all around the United States it's a little crazy. So I'm very interested to see what's going on here. But of course, I know who you are, but the listening audience doesn't. So if you could just give a little bit of a background before you tell us what's been going on here.
Sure. Yeah. So I'm calling in to give an update on my girlfriend who you met with. Has kind of been through the ringer the past 10 years. She's 26. And since she was like a freshman in high school, she got diagnosed with endometriosis, POTS, had a heart condition, just been through the ringer. I mean, she's been to Mayo Clinic multiple times, been to all over the country to see this specialist, that specialist, and hasn't really gotten anywhere.
26 years old, has been dealing with chronic health conditions, gone to the best people in MD land numerous occasions, was not given any significant help whatsoever. I met with her, what was that, about 6 weeks ago, 8 weeks ago? How long ago was that?
Yeah, we're about 2 months ago.
All right, put her on a Foundation Medical Nutrition Program, and how's she doing so far?
All right, so the things that have gotten better are joint pain's gotten better, she's sleeping better, her heart palpitations and chest pain has gotten better, her appetite has increased, overall energy levels have gotten better. So that's good. And we know, I remember you saying, things tend to heal from the least to the most severe.
Right.
So with all that stuff getting better, she has noticed she's getting more frequent migraines, very severe migraines. And the last one she had, she lost eyesight in her right eye for a little bit.
Holy moly macaroni. Stick around with me, Mr. McLaughlin. We're up against a hard break. I'll dial this in for you when we come back. Ladies and gentlemen, you have come to exactly the right place at exactly the right time. Stick around, much more to come.
If you are sick and tired of feeling sick and tired, if you are finally finished with expensive and ineffective MD treatments, and if you are frustrated with not knowing which nutritional supplements to take, you have come to exactly the right place. We are here to help. Log into EiffelHealth.com, click the contact button, and someone who has been working with Dr. Glidden will contact you and show you exactly what to do to recover your health. Go to EiffelHealth.com, that's EiffelHealth.com, and click the contact button now.
The tablets. Oh, by the way, want to see my Christmas present? Dun, 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 dun. Luke, this asthma medicine is killing me. Big Star Wars fan, just so you know. Yalo. I'll finish up with you in the next break. We're live. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. I got to tell you, you're missing quite a bit if you're not in the chat room. We're having fun in the chat room today. Go to glidden.healthcare, become a Dr. Glidden advocate, and join the party. Let's go back to Ryan in Illinois. Okay, so your girlfriend is starting to improve. Good thing, right?
Yep.
She's been sick for 26 years, hasn't gotten any help. She's finally starting to see the light, and things are starting to roll around in her favor. But while this has been happening, her migraine headaches have increased. Is this correct?
Yeah, so just a few things that are still pretty severe. More frequent and more severe migraines. She still has that unexplained side pain on her left side that's very severe. And every time she's been hospitalized for it, she's been told pancreatitis, even though her enzymes are slightly elevated. So nobody really seems to know what's going on. And the third thing is she's getting frequent yeast infections and urinary tract infections.
Excellent. Okay, good. So whenever we see frequent infections anywhere in the body, whether it's a urinary tract infection, a kidney infection, a lung infection, a throat infection, an eye infection, a nose infection, or acne on the skin, it's an infection. The first thing to think about is a problem with the metabolism of sugar in the body, a problem with the metabolism of sugar in the body. Because if the body is not taking sugar into the cells efficiently, the way that it was designed to, even exactly the right amount of sugar will linger in the blood for too long and feed critters that are in the body all the time. There's bacteria in the body all the time, virus in the body all the time. So when sugar is hanging out in the bloodstream too long, that's a problem. And that's the first thing to think about when we see chronic infections. So is she doing sweeties?
She doesn't have sweeties, no.
All right, so you need to add sweeties into her program. I would give her 2 bottles a month. I'd give her 4 capsules of sweeties 2 times a day. The secret to sweeties is to give it at the same time every day. You know, that's not a thing with any of the other supplements. You can take the Beyond Tangy whenever you want. You can take the minerals whenever you want. We'd like you to spread it out. But I like to see people take the sweeties at the same time every day. You know, like 10:15 or whatever in the morning and, 3:30 in the afternoon. But I like to see it between breakfast and lunch and then again between lunch and dinner. But whatever works. 4 caps twice a day, number 1. Number 2, this is an interesting thing to happen because, right, remember we have 26 years of trouble that we're attempting to fix here. And number 1, 26 years of trouble is not going to go away in 6 weeks. But inside of 6 weeks, we do expect to see some noticeable, measurable, positive improvement, which we have secured. So the game is afoot, as Sherlock Holmes would say. So, an interesting thing, right? Our fundamental foundation ideation here is that all chronic diseases are directly related to chronic, undiagnosed, undiscovered nutrient deficiencies. Linus Pauling, 2-time Nobel Prize winner, echoes the same sentiment. All chronic disease is directly related to chronic nutrient deficiencies. So your girlfriend has been chronically nutritionally deficient her entire life, and it's shown up in spades in her body. She's very sensitive. Now, as we're nutrifying the body and fixing, right, 26 years of trouble, in the beginning, what will happen is the nutrification of the body, it's kind of uneven. And certain systems of the body will suck up the nutrients and start to turn over and start to work the way that nature intended them, and others are lagging behind, right? Just because it's not a perfect prescription, and the human body is incredibly complex, and there's all these variables, right? So oftentimes what will happen is, especially in people that have been suffering with stuff for decades, right, and they're not getting any better, what will happen is that usually in the first 3 or 4 months of treatment, as some of their kind of generalized symptoms are improving, 1 or 2 or maybe 3 of the more deeply embedded symptoms will become exaggerated and increase. And this is because of 2 reasons. The body now has more vitality because the body is more nutrified. And because the body has more vitality, it is able to express its symptomology more intensely. Kind of like if you stepped on the gas, if you had if you had one tire in your car that was like 80% empty of air, right? And you're driving down the road at 10 miles an hour, you might not notice it. But if you're driving down the road at 60 miles an hour, you're going to notice it. It's the same with the body. So when we nutrify the body for the first time in somebody's life, and we stop eating food that's gumming up the works for the first time in that person's life, some things will improve, but other things, the things that have been more kind of chronically rooted in the body, will become more intense. This is a function of the healing process, right? And so what do? Well, we understand that it's a function of the healing process, and that's just kind of the way it goes. And when things like this become exaggerated, like the yeast infections and the urinary tract infections, well, we think, son of a gun, that the first thing is it's a sugar imbalance. So we add to the program sugar support. That's easy. So whenever we see migraine headaches increase, we add to the program omega-3 essential fatty acids. So how many of the EFA plus is she taking a day now? Do you know? Come on in, Ryan. Are you still with me?
Yep.
Yeah.
So she's taking 1 bottle a month, so 1 capsule 3 times a day.
Yeah, okay. So from now on, for the next 2 months, I'd like you to give her 3 bottles a month, and I'd like you to give her 3 times a day. Okay. Now, if memory serves, she does not have a gallbladder, right?
That's correct. So she is taking 2 bottles of enzymes a month.
All right. So that's why the migraines are more intense, because one of the main causes of migraines from our point of view is a deficiency in a biochemical in the body called prostaglandin. And the body needs omega-3 essential fatty acids to produce prostaglandin. Omega-3 is an essential fatty acid. The body can't make it. It needs to be imported. But in order to digest and metabolize the omega-3, her body needs bile, which is in the gallbladder, which the MDs removed. So because the MDs have their heads up their backsides and they took the gallbladder out, it's going to be hard for her to metabolize omega-3 essential fatty acids, and that's why the migraines are increasing. So she needs to do what I would do for the next 8 weeks is 3 EFA plus, 3 times a day with meals. And I would do 2 of the enzymes at the beginning of the meal that she does the EFA plus in.
Okay.
All right. Now that may also go a long way towards helping this weird undiagnosed phantom pain in her left side, right? Whenever we see pain, we think inflammation. And omega-3 essential fatty acids are anti-inflammatory in their action. So
Right.
this may be just present because she doesn't have enough EFAs, and which has been a problem because, number one, there's not enough of that stuff in the diet anyway, and number two, they took the gallbladder. So even when she does eat foods that's high in EFA, she can't suck it up because her gallbladder's gone. Now, there's another thing that I don't want to overlook here, and it just sprang into my mind, so I'm going to talk about it. Whenever we see chronic flank pain, chronic abdominal pain, that's the MDs can't figure out what the hell it is. It might be due to an adhesion in the abdominal tissue, and the main cause of adhesions is chronic dehydration. So now I'm of the opinion that most people in the United States are dehydrated because we drink coffee and tea all the time, and coffee and tea are, they suck water out of the body, and then we need to drink enough water any day to hydrate the body. But if we're drinking coffee and tea on a regular basis, we need to drink more to make up for the deficit that we've lost because of the coffee and tea. So, but this begs the question, well, what's the adequate amount of water for a human being? And nobody knows.
Right.
What I would recommend as an experiment with her, because of her height and her weight, I would recommend she does 4 8-ounce glasses of water a day.
Okay.
4 8-ounce glasses of water a day, and that can be the Beyond Tangy Tangerine stuff, right? It doesn't have to be additional, just altogether 32 ounces of water a day. Maybe she's already doing that, I don't know, but I kind of don't want to overlook the obvious here. But that's the rundown. So sugar support, blood sugar support with the Sweeties for the chronic infections, and more EFAs for the chronic migraines, and keep us in the loop.
Sounds good. Yeah, that helps a lot. Appreciate it.
All right, Ryan, keep up the good luck. Your community needs you more than you know. Ryan McLaughlin, a rising star here in Longevity Nation. He's really taken the bit between the teeth, and he is attempting to turn as many people into the light as he possibly can. And that's why Dr. Wallach, in his wisdom, made Longevity a network marketing company, because the front door of medicine is guarded by the pharmaceutical industry. There is no way that the pharmaceutical industry is going to let naturopathic medicine onto the main stage. Medical research is not naturopathic. Medical research is allopathic. The universities, all of the research facilities, they don't do medical research. They do allopathic, reductionistic medical research. So the only way that we can get our information to as many people as we can is not through the front door, but through the back door. So we're generating a grassroots coalition of the informed, So, interestingly enough, it is illegal. Can you believe it? It's illegal to tell somebody that you can treat a disease with a nutraceutical, with a vitamin or a mineral or an herb, if you make money from the sale of the vitamin, the mineral, or the herb. How about that? Federal Trade Commission doesn't like that, because according to the FTC and the FDA, the only thing that can treat a disease is a drug. So if I had a water company and I put on the label of my water treats dehydration, the FDA would shut me down, confiscate my stuff, and fine me for selling an unregulated drug, because the only thing that can treat a disease is a drug. Isn't that nuts? That's the way that it is. So, Dr. Glidden, Longevity can't say that they treat disease. They don't. Longevity nutritional supplements are not marketed to treat disease. They're not. Longevity nutritional supplements are marketed to upregulate different systems of the body, to support and promote the function of the body. But I'm a naturopathic physician, licensed. I don't make any money from the sale of Longevity nutritional supplements. Zero. I don't make any money from the sale of nutritional supplements in any aspect in the public airways. I don't make any. In private practice, I do. That's allowed by law. So the workaround here is you come to Dr. Glidden's radio show, you become a Dr. Glidden advocate. I tell you what to do with nutritional supplements in order to recover your health. You can buy them wherever you want. Bada bing, bada boom. My advice, buy Youngevity's, because Youngevity nutritional supplements produce more effective results than anything I've seen in 25 years of clinical work. The best is, in fact, yet to come, ladies and gentlemen. Colorado is up next with Nancy.
If you are sick and tired of feeling sick and tired, if you are finally finished with expensive and ineffective MD treatments, and if you are frustrated with not knowing which nutritional supplements to take, you have come to exactly the right place. We are here to help. Log into eiffelhealth.com, click the contact button, and someone who has been working with Dr. Glidden will contact you and show you exactly what to do to recover your health. Go to eiffelhealth.com. That's eiffelhealth.com and click the contact button now.
We're back, ladies and gentlemen. Dr. Peter Glidden, your steadfast advocate for health, hoping that you all had and continue to have a really great holiday season. Let's go to Colorado and see what's happening with Nancy. Hey, Nancy, thanks for the call. You are live.
Hi, Dr. Glidden.
What's going on, Nancy?
Well, this time I've called in before. I always get the hard cases, and I have to rely on your knowledge. This is my sister-in-law, and she had a really miraculous reaction to the Healthy Body Pack back in May. And she's 68 years old. She had, literally within a week, she had energy. She couldn't walk up and down stairs because of being put on statin drugs, which she stopped. She stopped eating the 10 bad foods, lost some weight. It's been just really a cool story.
Great.
But, and so she's a big, she's amazed. She's getting away from doctors, everything good. But she and her husband he got a cold, and she got Bell's palsy.
That's interesting.
And, at first it was, they were trying to decide if it was a stroke. Her face went down, and she couldn't blink her eye. It felt like there was sand under her eyelid. And she was supposed to do the refresh liquid drops, and then the eye just wouldn't blink or anything, so they had to do the sterile lubricant eye ointment and tape the eye shut.
Yeah.
So when... And then, in talking to her more, she had Bell's palsy last March that lasted a week, and then 10 years ago.
Interesting.
But this one's really hanging on to it.
Okay. All right. So Bell's palsy, from our point of view, if it's not related to a stroke can cause Bell's palsy. Cocaine can cause Bell's palsy, cocaine abuse. Novocaine can cause Bell's palsy, interestingly enough. So you want to ask her if on any of the occasions that she's had Bell's palsy, had she just been to the dentist, right? Because in certain people who are highly reactive to these drugs, that can cause that. Now, if none of those are at play, and if given the chronic nature of this stuff, the first thing to consider is that it's osteoporosis of the skull.
Right, and we watched the video on that. And,
yes.
And she took more calcium. She's taking more calcium now.
Well, so she would need to do more calcium, more plant minerals, and glucogel.
Okay.
Calcium, plant minerals, and glucogel. And I would also get the CM cream, and I would liberally apply the CM cream to the tip of a Q-tip, and I would insert the Q-tip into the ear canal on the side of the face that's gone dark. And just swab the CM cream on the inside of the ear. And then I would wait 60 minutes and see whether or not there was a response. If she sees a response, then that's a good thing, because the nerve is inflamed, right? And that's what causes the Bell's palsy. The nerve is being inflamed somehow, and we believe it's a mechanical thing because of, the way that the skull is constructed. So I would do the CM cream into the ear canal. I would take extra calcium, extra plant minerals, and extra glucogel. See whether or not she gets any purchase from that. really, but also, ask her if she was at the dentist's, a day before this happened to her, because oftentimes people will overlook the obvious like that. Does that make sense?
Right, and the doctor gave her antiviral drugs and prednisone.
Well, I wouldn't take the antiviral drugs because they're just throwing crap against the wall. He doesn't know that there's a viral infection that's present. He has no idea.
Okay.
And that's just a ridiculous prescription. Anti-inflammatories, I don't know. I wouldn't take prednisone for this condition. I wouldn't prescribe prednisone for this condition. But that's all that the MDs have, and they have to do something, so that's what they're going to do, right?
Right, and they're telling her she's getting air pockets in her eye.
Well, regretfully, Nancy, we're at the end of the show, so if you call me tomorrow, I'll be able to speak about the air pocket thing in the eye. That's just a very interesting thing, and from my point of view, it really underlines medical incompetence to a high degree. Call me back tomorrow. I'll help you to line that up. In the meantime, more calcium, more plant minerals, more glucogel, and do the CM cream. See what happens. Thanks, ladies and gentlemen. Until next time, live long and prosper.